We are live on Facebook, and Miss Minmaya, we are ready to go. So let me start with the logo of the video. Minmaya, Miss Minmaya, kindly stop the screen sharing for a while. Miss Minmaya, kindly stop the screen sharing for a while.
Hello.
Miss Minmaya, kindly stop the screen sharing.
After speech, ma'am.
Miss Minmaya, kindly stop the screen sharing.
Action.
Okay.
Just give us a minute. Yes, Miss Maya, you can start.
तपाईँले सुरु गर्नुहोस्।
Now I am going to start. Hello. Very good evening, afternoon, and good morning, once and all gathered here on this international conference. I would like to welcome you all for the international conference and Kaleidoscope around the world in the 7 days, 27 September to October 3rd, organized by Global Educators Fraternity. Today, we are conduct program from Nepal. So I want to start the conference from the national anthem of the Nepal.
With this, Miss Minmaya, we can't hear you. Miss Minmaya, we can't hear you. Miss Minmaya, by the time I think there is some technical glitches. So by the time Miss Minmaya joins us back again, let me have a formal welcome for each one of you. Myself, Prashna Bhimrajka, the co-founder of Global Educators Fraternity. Namaste from India. A very good morning, good afternoon, good evening to one and all present here. I, on behalf of the entire team of Global Educators Fraternity, extend a warm welcome to all our keynote speakers, our moderator, and other distinguished guests, and the August gathering present here with us today and watching us live on Facebook. I am unable to address you individually, but a warm welcome from Global Educators Fraternity to each one of you. Today's dignitaries have joined us to deliberate, discuss, and know more about the rich cultural heritage of Nepal and around the world in 7 days. Today is day 5. Now, Nepal is a multilingual and multicultural country that preserves hundreds of cultural heritages of historical importance. This country, known throughout the world as the home of the Mount Everest and Lord Buddha, is an intricate garland of the various ethnicity and caste of people who have inhabited the land of millennia. Its historically important patrimonies provide a glimpse into the rich art culture of country and have therefore been placed under the World Heritage List of UNESCO. So let us explore Nepal, and Miss Minmaya is going to take us to the virtual trip of Nepal. A brief introduction about Miss Minmaya Rana is that she is a teacher at Shanti Siksha Mandir School in Kathmandu, Deputy Coordinator of Global Educators Fraternity, and she is also associated with many other organizations. So welcome Team Nepal. Along with Ms. Minmaya, I welcome all the keynote speakers once again here. So Ms. Minmaya, if you are audible, kindly unmute yourself and then you can start with the mission and vision of Global Educators Fraternity.
Okay, ma'am. Now I am going to introduction about the Global Educator Fraternity. What is Global Educator Fraternity and who is the co-founder of the Global Educator Fraternity? Global Educator Fraternity co-founder is the Rachana Bhimarachaka. She is the co-founder and great leader and social worker and old book of the record, London worldwide top record and the great Indian book of the record, international motivational speaker and curriculum designer, and she has worked many innovation work in the society. So she is the great social worker in this India. So I will say another, what is Global Educator Fraternity? GEF is an association that hankers to build the global citizen round the globe to spread the awareness in various aspects to make a better quality life, where the like-minded people have joined hand in the hand over the roof with the ahead to cater the current, the ensure the educational fraternity and labor to create the responsible and responsive citizenship. And his mission is to nurture the global, ensure with the institution and the adjust with the guidance of the expert and to bring the revolution in the education fraternity and to achieve the long-term and segregated transformation to how citizens think and act and to develop the key comprehension needed in the all the facts. And also the global educator fraternity vision is the acquire the skill and knowledge to promote the sustainable development goals and to provide the network for expanding the spirit of the creativity innovation and to prepare the young generation with the great value globally to make the world and better places. And the Global Educator Fraternity oncoming aspiration is the webinar and workshop for the betterment of the learner and society at large and to enhance the personal trait and the professional skill of the citizen globally and to broaden the horizontal of the knowledge to the under and privilege the learner in the less progressive zone, and to creative awareness program about the health and hygienic and seminar and vocational and career counseling anymore. So in this conference, there are 17 countries involved. So now we can start our special guest speaker.
ए
So,
वाह वाट ह्यापन्ड मैले यसैबाट बोले त्यो ठ्याकठ्याक त्यसमा गरेर आउनु ल
Miss Minmaya, we can't hear you.
अनम्युट
Miss Minmaya, we can't hear you.
अनम्युट तपाईँले अनम्युट गर्नुहोस् न मिनमा
sorry. Okay.
Today is smiling day, world is smiling day today.
So let us begin. Let us begin our trip to Nepal with a smiley. You all can share
Yes.
your smiley emojis
Yes.
on the.
Yes. Yes, it's
Yes,
a
you all
smiling
can.
day. Yeah, and also I would like to congratulate your president. Today is India's president birthday. So I would like to congratulate you all and happy birthday to Indian president.
Minmaya, is
Yes,
if
yes,
possible,
ma'am.
Miss Minmaya,
I'm.
on your video also if possible.
Uh,
Nepal team, guide me if there are other speakers are
मैडम
there.
कुनै
because
आवाज
other two-
आएन है
Other two speakers I can't find. And Miss Minmaya, are you there?
yes, ma'am.
आएन स्वर आएन के
म्यामले के गर्दै हुनुहुन्छ भन्ने नि पत्तो पाइएन
Miss Minmaya, if you are there, kindly start the show.
म्याडम यो केही पनि आवाज नआएकोले गर्दा अब सुरु गरौँ होला
I think
No sound.
किन आएन
साउन्ड इज नट सेयर्ड म्याम
Miss Minmaya, are you there? Miss Minmaya, we can't hear you. Okay, so let us
Yes.
start. Miss Minmaya, I think we can't hear you.
Oh,
So let us start
Yes,
with Professor Dr. Shriram here, Shriram Upadhyay. So sir, kindly let us start from you till the time Miss Minmaya Rana fixes her technical glitches. I would request
okay.
you to
Yes,
start.
ma'am. First of all, we can to request our special guest speaker, Homnath Paudel sir. He is a social worker and social teacher, curriculum designer of the social studies, and he is a chairperson of the social studies forum also. So I want to request our special guest speaker, Homnath Paudel sir, welcome to and share your view about the topic is the historical place of Nepal.
Namaskar everyone. May I share my presentation now?
Yes, sir, you can.
Okay. Namaskar, and I want to welcome you all in this presentation. Nepal. In brief, there are some historical places also. First, I want to welcome you all with the forest of Laliguras, that is rhododendron, that is the national flower of Nepal. I am Omnath Paudel. Minmaya madam had already introduced me, and I want to give a little information about Nepal in brief or in short. There we see a picture, that is the picture of the founder of Nepal, Prithvi Narayan Saha. He united Nepal into one. So we can call that, or that is, Nepal is politically and culturally an independent nation from its origin. There are many cultures. These are two symbols I have seen shown here in the pictures. One, that is Swambhunath, which my cursor is there. Swambhunath, that is a holy place of a Buddhist, and this is Muktinath. Both Hindus and Buddhists respect and worship equally. More than 10 religions are practiced in Nepal, and this is the land of cultural and geographical diversities. Cultural diversity in the sense that according to the 2011 census, Nepal has 125 ethnic groups. These people speak different languages. According to the same census of 2011, 123 languages are spoken in Nepal, and they have different cultures. Therefore, Nepal is the land of cultural diversities. Similarly, in the southern part of Nepal, there is Tarai land, or Tara. Southern part is covered by plain land that we call it Tarai, that is connected with UP and Bihar of India and West Bengal also. And in the central part, middle part, there is a hilly region, and in the northern part, Himalayan region lies, or Himalayan region is located in the northern part of Nepal, where we can see Mount Everest. This is the picture of Mount Everest. Mount Everest, highest peak of the highest peak of the world. And Nepal was only Hindu nation in the world. Nepal was only Hindu nation in the world, but it was declared secular nation in 2006 AD. Around 13 or 14 years ago, Nepal was declared secular state, secular nation, and these are the symbols of different religions. Here are only 8 symbols, but there are many religions, but major religions practiced in Nepal are more than 10. It is regarded the holy place. Nepal is regarded the holy place after the war of Kurukshetra, after the war of Mahabharata. Pandavas walked through Nepal to reach the heaven, walked through Nepal to reach heaven, and they lived in this place, which we see in the picture. They lived in this place for few days. This is Surgadwari, located in western hillside of Nepal, Surgadwari. The meaning of Surgadwari is the gateway to the heaven. Gateway to the heaven. Here are such places, and this is the land where King Janak, Sita, Valmiki, and Lord Buddha were born. Here we discuss, I give such introduction to a few places. This is Lumbini. Lumbini, it is located in the western part of Nepal, western Tarai, and we can see some monks here and a beautiful pond and a building. It was an independent state before 5th century BC, and in this place or Lumbini, where we can see a pillar. In the place where there is pillar, Lord Buddha was born, and in the same place in 623 BC. Here we can see a pillar. This was erected by Ashoka the Great, who visited in Lumbini. Okay, Emperor Ashoka the Great came to Lumbini and erected a pillar in 2049 BC. This is one historical, cultural, and religious place. This is the holy place for the Buddhist. Among four dhammas of Buddhism, Lumbini is the birthplace that is located in Nepal. And Saranath, Gaya, Kushinagar, these are located in our neighboring country, India. We see here a beautiful building constructed or built in Mughal style. This is Janaki Temple of Janakpur Dham. Yes, I talk a little about Janakpur Dham or Janakpur. Janakpur is the religious and historical places of Nepal that is located in the eastern Tarai. Tarai means plain land of southern Nepal. This is the center of religious tolerance at present. That Janaki Temple, this is the temple where Hindus go to worship, and there is a mosque inside the premises of Janaki Temple where Muslims go and pray there. In the Hindu shrines, in the holy places of Hindu, Buddhists also go there and worship and pray. Janaki Temple was constructed by Queen Brisbhanukumari. Perhaps she was of Bihar or some district. She made it in 1911 AD, and this is the greatest and holy place, largest holy place of the Hindus of the world.
Mr.
Pashupatinath.
Home, I'm sorry to interrupt, but you have exceeded your time limit, so we have to stop
Okay,
here.
okay. Thank you, ma'am. I will finish. Okay, this is Pashupatinath, and this is located in Kathmandu, and this temple was built in 5th century, and it is said that Pashupatinath has protected Nepal and Nepali people. Because of time limit, I could not tell about this beautiful place. Anyway, thank you for hearing me.
Thank you so much, Mr. Home, and I would request all the speakers to kindly maintain the time frame. The time frame have been informed to the moderators quite number of times. So kindly request, please follow the time frame. Over to you, Ms. Minmaya.
Okay, ma'am, because now I want to request another our special guest speaker, Govinda Sharma sir. He is a chairperson of Society Teachers Friendly and Technology and principal and English teacher and also ICT trainer. So welcome to our special guest speaker, Govinda Sharma sir.
Thank you so much, me and Maya ma'am. Namaste and very good evening to all the delegates and this very important program. Thank you so much for giving me this golden opportunity. Now I would like to share my screen. Is my screen visible, ma'am?
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Yes, sir.
So directly, I want to begin my presentation. So namaste and very warm welcome to you all in this very webinar. Sorry, my slide is not working. Just a minute. I'm going to say once more. I'm very sorry, ma'am. My slide didn't work. Okay, I will continue. It's me, Govinda Prasad Sharma, currently working as the head teacher of Sri Parvati Secondary School. It's in Bethanchok Rural Municipality in Kabri, Nepal. And I've been teaching English in the school for 25 years. And I've been the principal of the school for 10 years as well. And on this very program, I'm going to talk something about one of the Aboriginal people living in Nepal. So I'm going to show you the map of Nepal. As we know, and as Holmes already has said, that Nepal is a multicultural, multi-religious, as well as multi-racial country, where the people from different races live together in a peace and harmony with the concept of unity in diversity. So we can see here that the hands are joined together. It shows that Nepalese people are living together in peace and harmony with the concept of unity in diversity. And my today's topic here is to talk about Limbu people, who are one of the Aboriginal people living in the western part of Nepal. They are also called Kirati people, living in the Himalayan Limbuan region of eastern Nepal, northern Sikkim, India, and even western Bhutan. And the estimated population of Limbu in Nepal is 700,000, and they live mainly in this Nepal in the districts of Terathum, Dhankuta, Taplejung, Pastor, Ilam, Jhapa, Morang, and Sunsari districts. So in the picture, you can see the Limbu male in their cultural uniform or cultural dress. So you can see the Limbu woman wearing different types of ornaments and also Nepali uniform, Nepali dress, and also male wearing Nepali cap woven by Nepali Limbu woman. And also you can see him wearing the coat that is also made of the clothes woven by Nepali Limbu woman, cultural uniform. And We can also get some information about them. Portions of Limbu population are also located in the eastern and western districts of Sikkim in India, and a smaller population is scattered throughout the cities of Darjeeling, Kalimpong, West Bengal, Assam, Bhutan, and Burma as well. And some have recently migrated to the United States, Hong Kong, and United Kingdom, and other countries too. So this original name of Limbu is Yakthung, or they are also called Yakthungba. And Limbu males and females are called Yakthung and Yakthungma. The male are called Yakthung and female are called Yakthungma respectively. And the ancient text state that Yakthung or Yakthungma is a derivative from Yaksha, and some interpret its meaning as the Yaksha winner, as they are the warriors. They are regarded as the warrior people. And in Limbu language, it means the mighty warriors, as the Limbu people are regarded as the warriors, which connotates with the ancient Kiratis. Subba is also the title given to the Limbu people by Saha kings. And Subba was not an indigenous terminology, but now the two terms are almost interchangeable. So we need to know that. And these people, the Limbu people, by race are the Limbu, and their religion is Kirat, and their religious book is called Mundum, and they call their god as Tagera Ningwafu. And the song, the special song that is to be sung by Limbu people is called Kelang. And the musical instruments the Limbu people play is a chabrung. And when they play chabrung, they make a circle by holding each other's hand, and they sing Kelang. And also their next typical musical instrument is Yalambar Baja. That is the typical Limbu musical instrument with the bamboo. And the language spoken by them is Limbu itself, and the script they use for the writing is Janga, and the estimated population is about 700,000. And we can see in the picture, so we can see two photos here, and the photos represent the Limbu male and female in their typical dress, on which we can see that Limbu woman has ornaments on her head, on her neck, ear, and even on her nose. So they wear different types of ornaments. And also Limbu male, who is wearing a Nepali cap on his head. Cap is woven by the Limbu woman, and also wearing a coat. So the traditional dress worn by Limbu people is called Mekhli and Taga, while performing Mangsewa, that is they're worshipping the god. Yakthung people wear Mekhli and Taga, white in their color, which symbolizes purity. It shows the purity. And Dhaka is the traditional fabric of the Limbus, which woven in geometric patterns in a handloom. So it is woven by women. And the picture shows, this next picture shows the typical Nepal Limbu food, on which they eat rice, soup, and also the pickle. And their special meat they eat is a pork, which they call faksa. Faksa is a Limbu term. They call for meat, which we call pork. And this picture represents the fermented millet beer that's prepared by Limbu people, and it's called Tongba. And Limbu people just drink it, and they especially serve the guest. When the guests come to their house, then they serve this Tongba. And the wedding practice in Limbu culture is that it is cross-union marriage is not allowed in Limbu culture. The marriage between a man and a woman outside the clan is also possible either by arrangement or by mutual consent of the man and woman in question. The marriages are mostly arranged by parents. Asking for a woman's hand is an important ceremony. They ask for the woman's hand. The representatives from men go to the woman's house and they ask for her hand. And this very picture shows the bride and bridegroom as decorated in the wedding ceremony. So we can see both the men and women, or bride and bridegroom, wear the jewelry or ornament. And this very picture shows a Limbu script that is called Siri Janga, and they have vowel diacritics, consonant diacritics, and the final consonants with the punctuation marks and the numerals we can see. And this is the separate script the Limbu people use. And we can see here that the typical houses the Limbu people live in, and the houses are made of mud and stone, and they have thatched roofs. And the poor person, the first picture here, we can see these kind of houses, especially the poor people live in. And if they are medium class, then they live in this type of house. And even if they are rich, and they can decorate their house, and they have the zinc roof, and also decorated with the garden, also with the flower and so on. So among different races living in Nepal, Limbu is one of the race living in the eastern part, and they're said to be the people with the brevity. Thank you so much, and this is all about my presentation. And I would like to thank again the delegates from Education Fraternity. Thank you so much for giving me this golden opportunity. And I would like to stop my sharing here.
Thank you so much, Govinda sir. Your presentation is very excellent. Now I would like to invite our special guest speaker, Sri Ram Upadhyay sir. He is a professor of university. He is also writer and socialistic, and also tenor. Please welcome sir, and to share something.
So I would like to request everybody to smile, because today is smiling day and also the birthday of President of India. Please convey my best regard to him and congratulations. So I know Omnath since long. Probably I trained him as well. If he remembers, I trained thousands of the teachers and their students. Of course, I taught in the Faculty of Education and also in the history, humanities, and many doctors. They learned from me Nepal Parichay. We taught them where is Nepal and how is Nepal. So many medical doctors knew me very well. So I think I have introduced social studies curriculum in Nepal. I have requested SAARC Secretary to introduce the same curriculum in all the countries of the SAARC. I have an opportunity to take participate in many international conferences as well. I have also worked as a chairman of the University Service Commission, who requests the professor and all the levels of the teachers and the administrative staffs. This is all about my introduction. I work in faculty and also head of department and the University Council, and also many international organizations like DFID, Finnish project, and also in CDC. I am still advisor to the Social Council of the Government of Nepal. Recently, I visited remote part to see the situation of women there, whether they are exploited, or I have given my report to the UNO. So I work in different capacity. Recently, my book has been published from Nirala Publication. You can read this book to know Nepal. It's very cheap, I think. It's recently published. History of Nepal from ancient to modern period. It also mentions about our treaties and engagement with China and India in different places. You see, we are in the middle of India and China. So we have relations with India and China since very long. The valley, our valley, Kathmandu Valley, was a lake in the beginning. And one monk from China, Greater China, came here and he saw this lake, very beautiful lake, and he stayed there. The place is called Swayambhu. Swayambhu means the God self, Swayam. And what he did, the monk did, he drained the water to go out of the valley. And it became very fertile at that time. And many people settled. And he built a city connecting two places. As you might have seen that time earlier, Swayambhu and Pasupati. Omnath probably demonstrated it. He connected two different places of religious value, one Buddhist, Swayambhu, and another Pasupati. He built very beautiful city, and the city was called Manjupattam in his name. Actually, his name was different, a Chinese, Tibetan name, but the scholar put his name as a Manjusri. What is the meaning of Manjusri? Manju means beautiful. Sri is the top, most beautiful, most handsome. So it is the beginning of the valley. And again, the Danasur was very wicked. He flooded the valley with water. So you see, this valley became lake again. So Lord Krishna during Dwapara came here in the valley, and he cut the places and let the water go out. And so he made the valley, and he suppressed Danasur and married the daughter of Danasur at the time. So Krishna married the daughter of the son Danasur after suppressing him. So again, this valley became very fertile, and many cowherds came along with the Krishna, and they settled. So you see, we have very long history. This history is before the Common Era, so long back. So we have very long history of independent. Nepal was never colonized by any country of the world. Nepal is the only country which is never colonized by any country of the world. Very independent from the very beginning of the history. And you see, Emperor, as Omnath Podal has also mentioned, that Ashoka visited Lumbini. We know Lord Buddha was born in Nepal, and also Lord, after that, 225, I think, BC. Yes. I want to share screen. My granddaughter is helping me. This is all about the Nepal, highest mountain. He has all. I just want to say, the Ashok came to pay homage in the Lumbini, and also Ashok visited Kathmandu Valley as well. Bansavali mentioned it, and Ashok had a beautiful daughter. Her name was Charumati. I guess the name was given by the Nepalese, and his daughter was married to Nepalese Prince Devpala. So we have matrimonial relationship from India since long. Buddhist disciple Ananda Modgala and Sariputra visited Kathmandu Valley, and they erected stupas in four places, different places of Lalitpur. And you see, You see, till now, we have very good relations with India and China as well. We have no other way. We have border in three sides from India and north from China. So you see, the daughter of Ansu Barma, Birkuti, Birkuti married to Tibetan king Srongtsang Gampo. And she visited with many idols of Buddha. And she spread Buddhism in Tibet. And from Tibet, it reached to different part of the Asia. Mostly Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, Japan, Korea. She spread Buddhism in all over Asia. So Buddhism was spread by her in Tibet. So you see, Nepal followed religious tolerance since long. Our Malla king, Ratna Malla, once visited Tibet, and he saw some Muslim merchant there making some ornaments, and you see some decorative things for the woman, and he thought it better to take some Muslim, Kashmiri Muslim, they were called Iraqi Muslims, and he brought some Muslim and they settled in Kathmandu Valley to trade. And Ratnamalla give them shelter, place to stay and carry out their trade. So what happened that many people came from outside and they settled. As Homnath has mentioned that 10 religions, we have 10 religions and different people, and we have religious tolerance since long. People have liberty to follow any tradition, any religion they want. In one family also, they followed the religion of their choice. So there was no restriction of the religion. So all were free to follow any religion they like. So we have Christian, Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist, Prakriti, Baum, and other religions as well, 10 religions. We never fought in the name of religions. We have very good relations with all the religions and the people. So Nepal is very loving and peaceful country. Everybody can come and go and enjoy. So we have beautiful, as you know, we have 10 highest mountains of the world. 10, at least 8 highest mountains of the world. Mount Everest is the highest one. So we have deepest gorge as well. Deepest river. We can jump, you see, Jambu ki Gambo bhanjan ke ho? Timile ahi bhane thyo ni. Bambo jump. What we call it, the people jumpy. So bungee jumpy is very popular here because of the deep gorge. So people can enjoy here easily. It was during Rana period, the country was not open for all and everyone. But after democracy, it was opened for the tourists as well. Because why they did not open? Because of the security reason. They said that if the foreigners will come, they can conquer our country. Because British India was there, the British government was there in India, so they were afraid of the British coming with the guns and they will capture. They knew the history of India, how the British conquered slowly. So they did not allow anyone to come and visit Nepal. So Nepal was restricted for the outside world. But if after 1950, people all over the world were allowed to visit Nepal. So we have, you see, matrimonial relations with India since long. Many monks, such as you see Mahavir, the followers of Mahavir, Jaina Guru, Bhadrabahu also came here in Nepal and You see, Shankaracharya also came in Nepal to go to Tibet. He appointed some Maharashtrian priest in Pashupati Nath temple. Shankaracharya never returned from Tibet. You see, and also Japanese scholar also visited Nepal. So after democracy and before democracy, some special people visited Nepal. And they wrote about Nepal many. You see, Kirkpatrick wrote about Nepal in the beginning. Kirkpatrick came here as not as a tourist, but he was sent by the British India government to see Nepal and write reports based on the history and geography of Nepal. Because you see, we have in 1792, we have Sino-Nepal War, and our government requested British government to help. So Kirkpatrick came here in 1792. He came to see the things in Nepal, what is going on in the battle, and the government of British India requested him to write book on Nepal. So he wrote first history book. It's also about geography, history, people and all. And the book was published in 1811. So it was the first book written on Nepal by British. He came here. It was actually not the book. He wrote a report to submit it to British government, because British government wanted to know whether we can, which is cold and peaceful, because you see India was very hot at that time. And also today, I met one friend and he was coming from Delhi in the summer, and when he reached here, oh, your country is air conditioned land. It's very peaceful and it's very cool, even in the summer. So British had eye on Nepal, and they wanted to conquer. So you see, so he sent Kirkpatrick to see whether we can conquer Nepal easily or not. So they requested Kirkpatrick to write a book on Nepal. He wrote an account of the history of Nepal. After Kirkpatrick, many other, Hamilton also came to see it. Yes.
Sorry, Dr. Sriram,
Yes.
you have spoken for more than 15-20 minutes.
I will show you just a festival. Some festivals. My granddaughter helped me to.
We should always respect our time frame.
Yes. I will just show you some of the clips.
Yeah, two speakers didn't come in, so we allowed you a lot of time. But you can, yes, if just at a glance you can show us the PPT. We would love to see just the glance you show us about the festivals. Do not talk about it, but we would love to know, because
yes.
our
Yes, you can see.
So we
Yeah, please. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you. Just see a glance. My granddaughter is helping me. Please. Yes. No, don't be fast. This is the festivals is at our doors. You see, so these are the glimpses of the festival. I'll chant one slogan. Yeah, Jayanti Mangala Kali Bhadra Kali Kapalini Durga Shama Dhatri Swaha Swada Namastite. This is the chanting during. You have also Tihar. We call it Tihar. It's different. Dasara. We call Dasai. We have Chhat, the festivals. We worship sun god. We have some statues, Ardhanarishwar, half male and half female. What does it mean? Ardhanarishwar. It's a gender balance. In ancient period, more than 1,000 years before, we have sculpture, Ardhanarishwar, half male and half female in one. So what does it indicate? The that love everybody equally. Love your spouse, love your wife, love your family. So everywhere you come Nepal, you will see beautiful sculpture, beautiful temples, good carving in the temple. I could not show you all the temples. Later on, I will show you all the beautiful carving and temples. I wrote many things about the sculpture in Nepal, many articles on the sculpture. I have also written, as Hamnath will be knowing, I wrote many socialistic textbooks, also mention about sculptures and our kings. Prithviraj Shah's contribution, Bahadur Shah's contribution, Amar Singh Thapa. You see, Amar Singh Thapa was extraordinary. He fought and expanded the country. Even in the war, Dr. Loni said, "Oh, Nepalis are so."
Sir,
Yes,
I would
madam.
request Miss Minmaya Rana to take it over.
Yes,
We-
Yes,
ma'am.
thank you very much, madam. I'm very happy. I want to see you smiling again. Convey my best regard to your president. He has happy birthday, and we wish all to be very good and healthy. I want to see you smiling all the time. Thank you very much. Please read my book. It's published from Nivarala Publication, India, Jaipur. Please read my book. Also, I have one book on Indo-Nepal trade relations.
Thank you so
Indo-Nepal trade.
much, sir. Thank you so much, Shriram, sir. Over to Minmaya, ma'am. As we
Thank
always
you.
say, we have to respect time, sir. And it will be injustice. It will be injustice if we did not
I
allow
see
other
very beautiful
speakers.
ladies and gents.
Minmaya Rana,
Good
ma'am,
friend of
over to
mine.
you.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Thank you, thank
Okay,
you.
today, our Sushma sister, ma'am, she is absent because her son is suffering from fever and she is in hospital, so she is absent today. And Mr. Buddhi Bahadur Khadka is also absent because she has a network problem. So sorry, ma'am, today. So I want to share 15 historical place which is most important in the Nepal.
I would request it was yes, you may say that Rashna ma'am is very strict, but our core team is very particular about the timings. Minmaya ma'am and Minmaya ma'am, we can't see your screen. I think are you showing something on screen?
Yes, ma'am. Only I will show some videos,
Yes, yes,
ma'am.
you can show. You can show. Just stop and do it again because we can't see anything on screen. So reshare it again.
Okay, ma'am. You can now you can see, ma'am. I can share this screen. I share screen, ma'am.
It's not visible. I think it's not. Stop and start again, ma'am. Miss Minmaya, you can stop the screen sharing and restart again. It is not visible, Minmaya, ma'am. Miss Minmaya, it is not visible. Try again.
Not visible, ma'am.
No,
What happened?
I think technical glitches. Just try one more time. Let us see if we are successful. Or if you can share it to me, I can try from my end also. Just see.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, Mr. Home, you want to say something?
Yes, I feel proud to be a student of Professor Dr. Sriram Prasad Upadhyaya. Sir, I studied your book. I studied the modern history of India and that inspired me to visit Aga Khan Palace in Pune, where Gandhi, Kasturba were imprisoned there. Thank you, sir. It's my pleasure to be your student. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Miss Minmaya, just try again if you can share it.
Govinda sir, can you show the screen?
Miss Minmaya on
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
left.
it's visible, but your video is not being played, ma'am.
I am not, now I am playing, sir.
Yes, on the left hand side.
Play it
Just,
now.
yeah, press the play button.
Okay, okay, ma'am.
You're only playing the music, ma'am.
I think it is not visible. I mean, Miss Minmaya, you have to stop the screen sharing. It's not visible at all.
Madam, यो शेयर नगरे पनि हुन्छ होला, टाइम किल भए जस्तो लाग्यो. केही पनि सुन्दिनँ.
आवाज सुनिएन
Miss
ma'am.
Minmaya, we let just one more try, and if it doesn't work, then it's okay. We all understand the technical glitches. So just try for the last time.
Yes, ma'am. Network is problem, so ma'am, sometime we
No issues. At times it happens. And I do understand 1 hour is too less for any, like to know a country or their rich cultural spots, religious spots, and so many things. So we just have to be glance at it, and apologies because we have to maintain time frame. So that is why I have to keep on interrupting you all, because we all have so much to say. If somebody allows me to talk about my country, 24 hours will also be less. That is why I always prefer to be on the back mode. So apologies. There was no intention to hurt anybody's feeling, but yes, I do understand time constraint. With this, tomorrow we will have some extra time, because tomorrow is not one country, but we are taking Africa as a continent. So where Africa is a continent, we have many countries. So tomorrow we will be representing 6 to 7 countries at one go. So tomorrow, instead of 1 hour, we will be doing it for 1 hour, 20 minutes. So I'm informing you well in advance. And with this, I hand it over to Mahua Chakrabarti ma'am, a part of Global Educators Fraternity, for the formal vote of thanks. Thank you.
Greetings to everyone. I, Mahua Chakraborty from India, feel privileged and honored to deliver the vote of thanks today on this great platform of Global Educators Fraternity. First, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to the co-founder Rachna Bhimrachka Madam, as well as the entire organizing team of the Global Educators Fraternity, right to the members of the creative team, the technical team, and the media team, and as well as all the distinguished members who have been busy making this event so successful behind the curtain. At the same time, I extend my sincere thanks to all the eminent speakers of Nepal on the 5th day of Around the World in 7 Days. A special thank you to Ms. Minmaya Rana for being such a wonderful moderator. We really enriched ourselves to know about the rich cultural heritage of Nepal, whether be it the natural beauty with so many mountain peaks, and especially as Gautam Buddha was born in Nepal in the Lumbini Gardens, along with the presence of Pashupati Temple in Nepal. I think each one of us would love to visit Nepal as Nepal is such a friendly nation, and those who we have not visited, we would always love to visit Nepal. So namaste from India. And since Gautam Buddha was born in Nepal and Buddhism is about peace, and today being a smiling day, I would just like to share with all of you, Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami, Sangam Sharanam Gacchami. Thank you.